Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, friends. And it is time once again for the Dark Librarian. I'm here for Bizarre Brain Comics, where I tell you tales of terror. Tales of Terror. And the book we're going to be talking about this time is being held right here in the skeletal hands of Mr. Bones. Midnight Tales. Want a drink, Mr. Bones? He can't drink it, go right through him. Ah! Yes, I love you too, Mr. Bones. So, we will consult the big book of knowledge. And this book is Midnight Tales number 6 from 1973, Charlton Comics. And this is Come Home, Children. And the story is Starbright. Parts of it were written by Nicola Cuti. The other parts were written and drawn by Wayne Howard. Midnight Tales is an American horror anthology title created by Wayne Howard for Charlton Comics. It ran from 1972 to 1976. The title had a horror host known as Professor Coffin, also known as the Midnight Philosopher. And he is assisted by his niece, Arachne. And each issue bore stories on a single theme, beginning with a framing sequence, and the stories had dividing sequences between them as well to tie them together. And the professor's setting was in Xanadu University. And it was also tied in to the E-Man title by Charlton Comics. Now, Wayne Howard, the artist, he was, his dates are from 1949 to 2007. He was an African-American comic writer and artist, and he's best known for his work at Charlton Comics in the 70s. And he created the title Midnight Tales. And he was the first mainstream comic creator given the created by credit, or the byline. It's something which became the norm for the other major publishers. And he was born in Cleveland and attended the Wesleyan University in Connecticut. I have difficulty pronouncing that name. And then during the 60s, he worked on fanzines, and he worked at the Wallywood studio in 1969. Then did some work on DC's House of Mystery and other projects. So, are you ready to delve into Midnight Mysteries. Yes, let's go with Professor Coffin, the Midnight Philosopher. Here we are with Midnight Tales. This is number 6. And this is a wonderful cover by Wayne Howard. And as we will see on the interior, and you can get hints of here that Wayne Howard was obviously strongly influenced by Wally Wood. You can see a lot of his influence in his art here. Of course, as I said, for a while he did work at Wally Wood Studio. And here I have another issue, which is number 13. Some damage. Part of the cover is missing. But I want you to notice, okay, again, strong Wally Wood influence, but in these, I'll show you here in this one, you see the professor, and that's his niece Arachne. And they're in the garden. He's trimming and weeding and all this other stuff. And here it says, Arachne, did you feed the carnivorous voracious yet? And you can see that she's being snatched by this this funny-looking carnivorous plant. And she's about to feed him. And then in this one here, you see the professor and Arachne. And here is this devil or demon who is chained to a bed, and there's another one standing above him, and he's saying, I'm his exorcist. It seems he's been possessed by a human. Now, these covers have absolutely nothing to do with the interior stories. It's basically, each cover is a gag cartoon, of course, with a very, very grim sense of humor. It's something that might be, and probably has been, swiped from the Addams Family cartoons by Charles Addams. Because I think I've seen a Charles Addams cartoon basically like this. Okay, let's get going. The Midnight Tales. And here you see the first page, where it's right there, Midnight Philosopher, said, "Come home, children." That is the overall theme of the book. This issue is "Come home, children." And here is, this is Howard's artwork. And this is just the introductory section. They're in their mansion, and these people arrive, and you can see all in the foreground, all these bunch of children hiding up here. And with these people who arrive, they're from a special institution for exceptional cases, strange, unusual cases of orphan children. And it turns out that the professor and his niece have been taking in all these unusual children. So, and they said, well, we only take the most exceptional cases. And then the doctor says, okay, such as this, and it has everywhere there's Lisa Ann. This is a story written by Nicola Cuti and drawn by Tom Sutton. And we'll just bypass that. And it's about this little girl. And then we get to another Nicola Cuti written story with Joe Staton artwork. Because there's the interstitial there. The other lady, she tells about another story. These are the kind of exceptional children they look after. And then, get this one here. Okay, well, those are fine, the professor says, but we have even more unusual children. And then they go on to tell the story of Starbright, which is the segment that was written and drawn by Wayne Howard. And okay, just a smaller splash panel here to introduce into the story of looks like a falling star, a meteorite, and it crashed close by. They go to check it out, and right there they don't find a meteorite, but they find a little girl, a very strange looking little girl. See, and you can see here as we follow through the some of the page layout, the panel compositions, and the scheme of lighting and light and shadow is very, very similar to Wally Wood, of course. And Wally Wood was strongly influenced by Will Eisner. So, and his stuff was very similar, very the same. So we see, and they pick up the little girl. Her name is Kath, and she's being pursued by someone called Orion. And they take her home, and they feed her and everything. And she, and my mommy is Cassiopeia, and Orion, he's my daddy, and he's been after me. And here she's telling the story. They don't wander away. Okay, mommy. And so she's there. Ooh, Nova berries. And she's flying around the galaxy. And there's Orion. And there you can really, in this figure, you can really see the Wally Wood influence. Very strong Wally Wood influence. He's not quite as good as nice a draftsman, and his figures are probably just a little bit stiffer, but he's still very nicely drawn. The more I look at his work, the more I like it. Well, he's being mean to her, and she takes off because her mommy told her not to go too far away, and then she comes to Earth. Oh, but help hide me from Orion. And they're outside. Uh-oh, look, because they want to go outside, try to find her mommy. Look through the telescope, but here's uh-oh, it's Orion. Yes, it's Orion, and he wants Kath. And they're going to try to protect the little girl, and then boom, there's her mommy, Cassiopeia. Says, "Get away, Orion." And they clash, and she defeats Orion. Do you yield? Yes. Unfortunately, I yield. And then mommy, Cassiopeia, takes the little calf into her arms and says, I must take her home now. So, oh, thank you so much, and goodbye. And they take off, and Arachne said, and this is another really strong Wally Wood influenced panel here. Said, I wish I may, I wish I might, have the wish I wish tonight. She's already missing Kath. And that's the end of that story. So here is the summation in the book. I said, well, that's really unusual. I said, what other children do you have? And then they take them in here, and you see all these really strange alien type of children. One's a little robot, a little lizard people, little furry people. Looks like a werewolf. One with little 3 eyes, and kind of a winged, big head, big guy critter. All kinds. Really strange looking children. I said, the runaway children of the universe. And that's the end of that. And I really enjoy these books. I do, and I really like Howard's artwork and the other artists in there. And of course, Nicola Cuti does some nice work. He wrote for Warren Comics, or Warren Magazines, also, and currently he's writing for the contemporary horror illustrated horror magazines from Warrant Publishing. So, keeping his hand in. He must be getting kind of long in the tooth. Well, thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. And remember, comics are awesome.